All right, Mr. Hintz, it does appear to be 4 o'clock if you want to go ahead and get us started.
Okay, I will call to order the Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021 Plan Commission meeting for the city of Oshkosh. Just a few items before we get rolling here. For the people that are in attendance and haven't participated in this before, I will be introducing the items by title, and then I will turn it over to city staff, and city staff will present the item. And then it will come back to the Plan Commission, and we will take care of technical questions that the Plan Commission may have. Then we'll come back and open it up for public comment, and that's time for the applicant also to speak. And then after we close the public comment, we come back to the commission for a motion and discussion and a vote. So with that being said, let's call the roll.
Mr. Perry?
Here.
Ms. Shireman?
Here.
Mr. Marshall?
Here.
Mr. Coulibaly?
Here.
Ms. Davy?
Here.
Councilmember Ford?
Here.
Mr. Kiefer?
Here.
Mr. Mitchell? Ms. Prop?
Here.
Chairperson Hins?
Present. Okay, with that, we will go to the approval of the minutes from the last meeting. I'm looking for a motion in a second, or if there are any additions, deletions, or corrections that we need to do, let's address those now.
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes. Sorry.
Okay, I have a motion. Was there a second in there?
Ford, I'll second.
Second, Kathy.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I guess we need to call the roll on approving the minutes.
Mr. Perry?
Aye.
Ms. Shireman?
Aye.
Mr. Marshall?
Aye.
Mr. Coulibaly?
Aye.
Ms. Davy? Ms. Davy?
I could see her, hear or see her say aye, but we didn't.
Okay.
Aye.
Councilmember Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Kiefer?
Aye.
Ms. Prop?
Aye.
Chairperson Hins?
Aye. Okay, we'll go to item number 1 on the agenda. We have a zone change from institutional district to single family residential 5 for property located at 330 to 338 North Eagle Street. And do we have any site inspections? If we did, please raise your hand.
Looks like we have Mr. Hintz and Ms. Shireman with site visits.
Okay, and we accept the staff report as part of the record. I turn it over to whoever's presenting this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Emmanuel Lutheran Church is requesting a zone change for a portion of their property located at the southeast corner of North Eagle Street and Porter Avenue. The property contains, of course, the church, a storage building, off-street parking, as well as a dwelling unit or single-family structure that was formerly used as a parsonage. The church is planning to split off the parsonage and market the newly created lot as a single-family home. The property's current institutional zoning does not permit single-family uses, so the church is requesting to rezone the newly created parcel to single-family residential 5. The church has submitted a certified survey map for the proposed land division, which is currently being reviewed by city staff. The surrounding area is mostly single-family uses to the north, south, and east. We have Oshkosh West High School to the west. The comprehensive land use plan does recommend institutional uses for the subject site. The proposed zone change to SR5 will allow the church to market the former parsonage as a single-family home, which is a by right use in the SR5 district. When it was used as a parsonage, the structure was an accessory use to the principal church use, where the pastor could take residence. The proposed SR5 zoning is consistent with the zonings of the surrounding area single-family uses, and also the size of the newly created lot is consistent with the single-family uses in the area. Now, although the comprehensive land use plan recommends institutional for the subject site, staff feels that this is a small enough or not significant enough to warrant a change to the comprehensive land use map. The comp plan is more of a general broad range planning tool versus parcel specific. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the rezone of a portion of the property located at 330 North Eagle Street as requested.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. And do we have any technical questions from the Plan Commission?
I don't see any, John.
Okay, not seeing any technical questions. We'll open it up to public comment, and if the applicant is here, request a statement from them.
I'm here, but I have nothing much to say. It's pretty much been covered.
Okay. And is there anyone else from the public that's here to speak on this item?
Not seeing any, John.
Okay, not seeing any. We'll close the public comment and bring back to the commission for a motion and a second and discussion.
Motion to adopt the findings and recommendation as stated in the staff report. Kathy?
Second, Amadou.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Anybody have any discussion on this? Just feel free to raise your hand. Okay, not seeing anybody. Let's call the vote.
Mr. Perry,
Aye.
Ms. Shireman,
Aye.
Mr. Marshall,
Aye.
Mr. Kulabali,
Aye.
Miss Davy,
Aye.
Councilmember Ford,
Aye.
Mr. Kiefer,
Aye.
Miss Prop,
Aye.
Chairperson Hins.
Aye.
Motion carried 9-0.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 2 on our agenda. It's, specific implementation plan amendment for a patio addition at 1844 Oshkosh Avenue. Were there any site inspections of this site?
Looks like Mr. Hintz and Miss Davy.
Okay, we accept the staff report as part of the record, and I'll turn it over to, again, whoever is presenting this today.
That's me. Thank you. The petitioner is requesting approval of a SIP amendment to add a patio addition at 1844 Oshkosh Avenue. The subject site is a vacant 2.49 acre irregular shaped parcel located east of North Keller Street and north of Oshkosh Avenue. The property is zoned corporate business park with a planned development overlay, and the surrounding area consists mainly of predominantly vacant commercial lands as well as Lakeshore Park to the north. The 2040 comprehensive plan recommends interstate commercial land use for the subject property. Back on October 13th of 2020, the Common Council did approve a general development plan and specific implementation plan for commercial development at the site. The previously approved GDP SIP called for 2 commercial buildings, a northern building being a two-story, 20,000 square foot mixed-use building, and a southern building which would be a single-story, approximately 8,000 square foot multi-tenant retail building. The applicant is requesting the amendment to allow for an outdoor patio area east of the southern building. This is going to be known as phase 1 of the development. The only change to the site would be adding a 14-foot wide by 57-foot, approximately 1,000 square foot patio adjacent to the west side of the building. The purpose of the patio is to provide an outdoor seating option for patrons. There's a proposed restaurant going to be located at that portion of the building. There's also a length of patio section approximately 10 feet wide by 24 that heads easterly along the south edge of the building, which provides access to the interior. The proposed location of the patio is going to be 15 feet from the North Killer Street right-of-way, which does encroach into the 30-foot front yard setback by 15 feet. The applicant is requesting a base standard modification for a reduced setback. And to offset the request, the applicant is proposing some extensive landscaping around the perimeter of the patio. One thing to note, the original GDP SIP, which was approved, the plans did utilize the entire 70% impervious surface, which is allowed in the corporate business park district. The patio addition will cause that site to be non-compliant by exceeding that 70%. So this will have to be addressed when phase 2 is reviewed, and they'll have to whittle that down back to 70% for site compliance. The patio area is going to be illuminated by a series of string lights. No additional ground or wall lighting is going to be added. The string lighting should have negligible impact on the photometric plan, but this will be verified during site plan review. There's no additional signage proposed. As far as landscaping, the landscape has been amended to provide more extensive screening to add more landscaping to screen the patio area around the perimeter, including a number of boxwoods, paperback maples, and red maples. Overall, as a site, there are 843 landscape points required, and the applicant is providing 1,379 points, which is well over the minimum requirement. As far as stormwater management, the additional impervious area will have to be analyzed to ensure that stormwater codes are being met, and that will occur during site plan review. And there's no proposed changes to the building facades. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the SIP amendment as proposed, with the findings and listings in your staff report, with 2 conditions. First being approving a base standard modification for the reduced setback along North Keller Street down to 15 feet. And then except as specifically modified by this SIP amendment, the terms and conditions of the original SIP remain in full force and effect.
Okay, thank you. We'll come to the Planning Commission for technical questions. Ms. Davy, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Can you tell me what the composition of the patio area is? Is that concrete?
Correct. Concrete, I believe stamped decorative concrete.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and I see Councilmember Ford. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you go through the details of when we'll find, when we'll get to those next steps where we'll deal with the impervious material, so we have an idea?
So it would be whenever they go to construct that second building, they'll have to address that 1,000 square foot over. If you recall, this area regional stormwater management was provided for the sites, but it's only provided based on the maximum allowed, which is 70%. So if this site would exceed 70%, then it would trigger the need for them to do their own stormwater on site, which is obviously going to significantly impact their approved plans. More likely in this scenario is with this patio being added, they'll need to account for that when they build the next building and reduce it in like kind, remove 1,000 square feet or so from that area. Because obviously triggering on-site stormwater management could potentially be an issue. Now, it's not something they couldn't overcome, but it would potentially need more civil engineering, civil design to figure out how they're going to account for that above and beyond 70% that the regional pond was designed to take from them.
Okay, anybody else in the Plan Commission have any more technical questions? Not seeing any. So we'll open it up to public comment, and if the applicant is here, request a statement from them.
Looks like Mr. Steiner is here.
Okay, Mr. Steiner, feel free to make your statement.
Will, looks like you're still muted.
Hi, this is Will. I think that the staff summary really outlined, exactly what we're doing here. What had been previously approved was a sidewalk that's 4 feet wide. So we had some impervious surface already planned for this. And I think the comment about reducing the northern building, more likely the patio, sidewalk, or some parking spaces planned around the northern building by 1,000 square feet would be the accommodation for the impervious surface. And I'm sure we'll get to that next year when we start working on that building. I'm happy to answer any other questions. We're getting pretty close to finishing this site. The pavement is, asphalt pavement is happening tomorrow. So it's very timely.
Looks like Kathy, you have a question?
I do. It's not directly related to the patio, but I see there's a drive-through. When will we know what the restaurant is, or do we know now?
Go ahead, Will. You can answer it.
Okay, so the drive-through is the Starbucks. That side of the building, the east side of the building, is 2,400 square feet approximately. There's a tenant space next to it, which we have not signed the lease for, which is approximately 1,600 square feet. And then the west side of the building, which is approximately half of the building, about 4,000 square feet, is a restaurant called La Taqueria. Taqueria, like pizzeria, except taqueria. They have secured a liquor license previously, so they have a bar, and it's a hybrid restaurant with a cafeteria style walk-up counter for ordering, and also sit-down food service. So this area would work for both of those accommodations.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions for the petitioner?
I do not see any.
I do, but I can't make my little hand work.
Well, go ahead then, Marty. We got you.
Thank you. I'm curious if you have considered making this patio area in a pervious area.
We haven't. This was a request by the tenant, and they have a stamped concrete patio in some of their other locations. They have 3 other locations, and I'm not quite sure how it would work for the restaurant cleanup if it were pervious, but I think that's a pretty good question.
Good, maybe you'll share it with them.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, anybody else with any questions for the petitioner? Now I'm not seeing any. And if there's anybody else from the public here that wishes to speak, now would be the time. And I did see that there was at least one person who called in, and if you called in and you would like to speak during the public, this public comment session, just speak up now because you don't have the raise hand feature.
Yeah, I think they left. They were the individual for the last item.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I know I saw a phone number on there. Okay, I guess we will close the public comment section and bring it back to the commission. Need a motion and a second, and then we can discuss the item.
Move to adopt the finding and recommendation as stated in the staff report.
Second, Kiefer.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Anybody have anything to say, any discussion on this item? Well, not seeing anyone. So turn it over to Hannah and let's call the vote.
Mr. Perry,
Aye.
Ms. Shireman,
Aye.
Mr. Marshall,
Aye.
Mr. Kulabali,
Aye.
Ms. Davy,
Aye.
Councilmember Ford,
Aye.
Mr. Kiefer,
Aye.
Ms. Prop,
Aye.
Chairperson Hins.
Aye.
Motion carried 9-0.
Okay, with that, we will move to the planning director's report. And it looks like we have some discussion on our type of meetings we're doing. So turn it over to you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So just as we had briefly discussed at the end of the last meeting, wanted to bring this back for discussion of the group to see if they would like to continue with the virtual meetings or if they would prefer to go back to in-person. Right now we do have that flexibility to choose from either option, but it must be one of those two. Hybrid is still not an option. So I wanted to, kind of get some sense for the commission members on where they're at. Just to open it up for some discussion here, if you can provide some feedback. If we would change to in-person, it would not be until the December 7th meeting of the Plan Commission, just based on how our notices work. Our notices are already being prepared and done for the November 16th meeting. So if we change, it would be starting in December.
I'll just add, Mark, too, that the city mask mandate is still in effect at City Hall, in case anybody is impacted by that.
Yeah, that is at least tentatively at this point scheduled to go through November, and then it sounds like it may be reevaluated.
It looks like Ms. Sharman has something to say here. Go ahead.
I do. Yes, thank you. Several comments on this because I work with this. This is a common topic in my job as well, about going in and going out. And just by a way of background, I'd like to understand something. When this commission went to virtual, when was it, even approximate, when was it? And was it based on the city or Winnebago County infection rate? Did that have anything to do with it when it went virtual? That's my first question.
So I guess some background. Early in the pandemic, when things were going on 2020, the commission went fully virtual. This late spring, early summer, as things turned around a little bit, we had went back to in-person meetings. We then more recently, I want to say maybe September-ish, I'm trying to actually look back right now, so if you can bear with me, September-ish, as the Winnebago County moved back into a high, considered a high risk area, the decision was made to go back to virtual. It was done right around the same time masking went back into effect for City Hall.
Okay. And are we still under high? I mean, that was what we were the last I looked. So we're
correct. We are still categorized as high.
Okay. So I'm certainly flexible, but it seems to me if that's the precludes why we went back to it and we're still at that. So that would be my recommendation, that we stay the course until the city or the county metrics lower. So that's my first comment. My second comment would be, I've heard this a couple of times and I thought about this long and hard, that if we get better participation for the petitioners via virtual, because they, they can call in and they can have more of their folks on the line, and that I see that as a very positive thing. Whereas when we ask them, I guess we don't ask them to come to the meetings in person, but they do make the trip because they feel like they're going to have to talk, and then there's no questions and it's a wasted trip. So if I look at it through that lens, I think that there's a lot of advantages. of continuing virtual, not forever, because my overarching feeling is that while we're still under high and we're still under a mask mandate and likely will be extended, I don't know how long after next week or whenever, my recommendation is that we stay virtual and revisit this in, 30, 45, 60 days. And I think that's it for now. Thanks.
Other comments? Opinions?
This is Kathy. I think Meredith raises some very good points, and I'm willing to go with her recommendation. Let's stay the course, and maybe January 1, we'll be revisiting it.
And for reference, to your point, Meredith, we went back to in-person beginning with the September 7th meeting.
Back in person September 7th and then back out.
Nope, September 7th was the first that was back to virtual.
Oh, back to virtual. Okay. Thank you.
I agree with Meredith too. I was going to suggest to reevaluate in November, but I think we can go into January. That's fine with me too.
And I would say if something changes at City Hall or, from the city's perspective in general, we can throw this back on an agenda at any point and revisit. I mean, nothing is binding that even is discussed today. If numbers, significantly would change in 2 weeks when we meet again, we could talk about it more. So just as long as we're on the same page and we understand there's always going to be a lag period before a switch is made. Any other thoughts, opinions?
And I'm not seeing anybody else speak, so you know how I like to wait till the end. I just want to say, and I'm not going to argue for one way or the other because I've always been go with how the commission feels. I just want to say that the county has not had a mask mandate in place. So the county doesn't, the city does. So you give mixed signals if you start going by governmental entities doing their mask mandates and whatnot. Just wanted to put that out there because I've actually been kind of paying attention to county politics because, I unfortunately had my representative pass away. So I just wanted to say that, it's all in the, I'm pretty sure it's all in the comfort level of the commission. It's how everybody feels about coming to the meetings. If they aren't comfortable coming to the meetings in person, I have no problem then doing the virtual. And if everybody's finally back to feeling comfortable and seeing everybody in person, then that's the time that I think we should go. I think it's more of, it's going to end up because we need it unanimous. So if one person's not feeling comfortable with it, we don't go back. That's the long and short of it. So it's one of those where we need everybody to feel comfortable with coming back, and it's sounding like everybody right now is saying stay the course. So I think that's probably what everybody's going to recommend to you, Mark. It's just staying the course for the moment.
It looks like Margie.
Thanks, Mark. I've had this same discussion twice in the past 2 days in other groups, and I believe in erring on the side of caution. I'm appreciative that the city is doing so also. There are definite benefits to meeting in person, but because we're recorded and we use microphones, it was pointed out to me yesterday that wearing a mask and using a microphone doesn't give the clarity of sound that we might be getting from most of our attendees when we're doing virtual. So, and we can see each other's faces this way too, which is maybe more important than meeting in person. So I guess I would agree definitely with Meredith and Kathy, and stick with the virtual as long as we need to. I don't think it's hurting us any. We're getting business done, right?
Meredith?
Yeah, I was interested to hear what John said, that it has to be a unanimous decision.
It does not need to be unanimous. I would err on the side of caution when we talk about things like quorums. If we have...
Yeah.
Mark, you told me it had to be unanimous. You said
it has to be unanimous in terms of we can't have hybrid, but it does not have to be unanimous in terms of us having it. If this commission is split, ultimately myself and the city manager can make the decision to go back to in-person. It does not need to be a unanimous decision, but
Oh, okay.
if it's split in the middle, I'm going to err on the side of caution because I don't want to have an issue with quorum. If we make it go back in person and there's people who are willing to attend, and
Which
we
was
now
why
have
I
quorum to conduct
thought when you
meetings.
explained it to me that
Yep.
that was the way it was because we couldn't force people who weren't comfortable come in person to come in person.
Correct.
I thought that's why we needed the unanimous because that's why I thought originally I thought that's what you said way back when this whole pandemic started.
Yeah, nope, not unanimous, but it's using that logic that if we try to force people to do something that they can't, we could jeopardize quorum, which means we've done no good because we can't have the meetings, period.
Okay. That's what I thought, so thank you for the clarification.
Mr. Koulibaly.
I was just comparing the two alternatives, and now I heard that speaking on the microphone with the mask on is not very practical. But I was also wondering about attendance, both for the Plan Commission members and public participation. How's that compare?
I would say our participation rate on virtual has been higher. For both
On virtual.
commission members and applicants. Meredith, or is your hand just still up from before? Sorry, I'll lower your hand. Just making sure. Anyone else? I mean, from what I'm hearing now, we'll probably stay virtual, because it seems to be the preference of the group. All right, that's all I have then.
Just maybe possibly one suggestion, Mark.
Yep.
Maybe we do discuss this monthly, at the first meeting of each month, and just in case things do change, just have it as one of your planning director report items like this.
Yeah, I'm happy to put it on kind of the first meeting of the month under planning director reports, and we can.
Because it's a good discussion for us to have anyway.
Yep. You guys like to hear me talk during this part, right?
Okay, well, if you're finished, Mark, need a motion to adjourn. Anybody want to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I guess we need to call the roll on that.
Mr. Perry,
Aye.
Ms. Shireman,
Aye.
Mr. Marshall,
Aye.
Mr. Koulibaly,
Aye.
Ms. Davy,
Aye.
Councilmember Ford,
Aye.
Mr. Kiefer,
Aye.
Ms. Prop, Ms. Prop,
She's muted.
I didn't think I'd touch that button. I said aye, I'm sorry.
that's okay, and Chairperson Hens.
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carried.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you.